Welcome to the Palace of Parliament in Bucharest, Romania, one of the most astonishing and controversial buildings in the world. Our journey begins in the heart of Bucharest, where the Palace of Parliament rises from the landscape like a stone colossus. Larger than the Pentagon, it is the heaviest building in the world, made entirely of Romanian-sourced materials: marble, crystal, oak, wool, and glass. The numbers alone are staggering: 12 stories above ground, 8 below, and over 1,000 rooms across 330,000 square meters, or roughly 3.5 million square feet. Let's step inside. As we enter the main foyer, we're greeted by grand marble staircases, 14-ton chandeliers, and ornate ceilings hand carved by artisans. The entire structure was built to showcase the might of the communist regime, especially its leader, Nicolae Ceaușescu. This building was his dream, his monument, and ultimately his downfall. Construction began in 1984 under Ceausescu's direct orders. At the time, Romania was under one of the most brutal dictatorships in Europe. The regime called it the People's House, but it was never meant for the people. It was a vanity project on a scale the world had rarely seen. To clear space for the building, over 7 square kilometers of central Bucharest were razed. Thousands of homes, churches, synagogues, and historic landmarks were demolished, and over 40,000 people were displaced. This Chosima, a term locals coined blending Ceausescu with Hiroshima, left an indelible scar on the city. The construction effort itself was immense. More than 20,000 workers and 700 architects labored day and night, often under harsh conditions. Romanian materials were used exclusively: 150,000 tons of steel, 3,500 tons of crystal, 1 million cubic meters of marble, and 900,000 cubic meters of wood. Massive wool carpets were woven in a single piece to fit entire rooms. Despite the enormous expense and effort, Ceausescu never had the chance to use the building. In December 1989, he was overthrown and executed during the Romanian Revolution. The palace was nearly 70% complete when the revolution broke out. Today, it stands as both a symbol of oppression and a monument to Romanian craftsmanship. Let's explore the interior together. We begin in the Hall of Honor, a space defined by two grand staircases and towering columns. It was designed for state arrivals and formal receptions. The red carpet alone is over 220 feet long. The chandeliers here weigh several tons and are made of hand-cut crystal. Next, we move to the Union Hall, formerly known as the Hall of the People. It's one of the most impressive rooms in the building, measuring 2,200 square meters, or about half a football field. Nearby is the Human Rights Hall, now used for international conferences and NATO gatherings. With white marble walls and rich carpeting, it has a quieter elegance, blending function with symbolism. One of the highlights is the Alexandru Ioan Cuza Hall, where the Romanian Senate once convened before relocating to its current location. This room has perfect acoustics, remarkable considering its size. The coffered ceilings and lavish chandeliers give it a stately yet dramatic feel. As we continue, we pass through corridors and antechambers, each more elaborate than the last. Walls are lined with tapestries and carved wood panels. Velvet drapes stretch 2 stories tall. Many of the halls are still unfinished or under renovation. Let's talk about the Romanian government and its current use of the building. Romania is a democratic republic with a semi presidential system of government. That means it has both a president, currently the head of state, and a prime minister who heads the government. The parliament consists of two chambers: the Chamber of Deputies and the Senate. Today, the Palace of Parliament houses the Chamber of Deputies and various government offices. Although the Senate relocated in 2005, the building remains actively used for parliamentary sessions, diplomatic meetings, and cultural events. Portions of it are also rented for international conferences, fashion shows, art exhibits, and even film productions, most notably The Brothers Bloom and War Dogs. But the building is far from universally loved. Many Romanians view it as a painful reminder of the Ceaușescu regime, a time of surveillance, censorship, and hunger. Ceaușescu was obsessed with order and grandeur, while the people he governed stood in food lines and lived in fear. The resources funneled into this building were enormous. Some estimates say up to 40% of Romania's GDP at the time was spent here, while basic infrastructure was neglected. Yet, despite its origin, many Romanians have come to embrace the building as their own. It's a showcase of national craftsmanship. Every marble column, every ornate rug, every crystal sconce tells the story of Romanian skill and artistry. Rather than demolishing it, the nation chose to adapt it, transforming a monument to dictatorship into a working seat of democratic governance. We now enter the balcony of the main facade. Looking out, we see Boulevardul Unirii, or Union Boulevard, which Ceausescu had modeled after the Champs-Élysées in Paris, but made wider and longer. From this perch, Ceausescu imagined delivering speeches to massive crowds. Ironically, he never once used this balcony. Instead, the view has become symbolic. What was once a stage for propaganda now offers a view of a city reclaiming its story. Bucharest has grown around the palace, evolving while carrying the weight of its past. A few final facts to close out our visit. The building sinks about 6 millimeters each year due to its immense weight. Despite being partially unfinished, it is still the second largest administrative building in the world after the Pentagon. Maintenance costs are enormous, millions of euros annually, primarily for heating and lighting. It has its power station, water supply, and even underground anti nuclear bunkers. So, what should we take away from this visit? The Palace of Parliament is many things at once: an architectural marvel, a symbol of excess, a tribute to Romanian talent, and a living chapter in the country's history. For some, it represents tragedy. For others, pride. But for all, it is unforgettable. Whether you see it as the dream of a dictator or the perseverance of a people, you cannot ignore it. Thank you for joining me on this tour. I hope these images and commentary have helped you understand the incredible story behind the Palace of Parliament, Romania's colossal house of history. A few final facts to close out our visit. The building sinks about 6 millimeters each year due to its immense weight. Despite being partially unfinished, it is still the second largest administrative building in the world after the Pentagon. Maintenance costs are enormous, millions of euros annually, primarily for heating and lighting. It has its power station, water supply, and even underground anti nuclear bunkers. So, what should we take away from this visit? The Palace of Parliament is many things at once: an architectural marvel, a symbol of excess, a tribute to Romanian talent, and a living chapter in the country's history. For some, it represents tragedy. For others, pride. But for all, it is unforgettable. Whether you see it as the dream of a dictator or the perseverance of a people, you cannot ignore it. Thank you for joining me on this tour. I hope these images and commentary have helped you understand the incredible story behind the Palace of Parliament, Romania's colossal house of history.